whether they evolve to the next stage or not.
Okay, all right. I also have with me RVS Mani. Let's understand from you, RVS Mani, with regards to how these groupings that have now polarized the world, there are multipolarity that is witnessed across the globe. And on one side, when we have the Ukraine war that is escalating and the Middle East conflict, on the other hand, there are important players, which is Israel and Iran. In a situation such as this, a balancing act that is being struck by India, how successful are we in doing it?
Let me put it very much simply. The 35 years after the demolition of the Cold War, where one country had already, as my previous speaker had already said, one country had already emerged or assumed the role of a leader, we are getting to get this type of group. It is very surprising that it has taken 35 years, but it has come. And it is good that it has come, and it's very important that certain major powers, especially the emerging powers like India, are lending leadership to it. So that's very important, and it will attract more and more people. Dollarization is one aspect of it. We are our own UPI, which is spread. As it said, it is not replacement of dollar. But it's a case of an alternate transactional, financial transactional methodology or an instrument which has been developed by the Indian IT sector or with the core IT sector, and that's a very successful and a robust system, and many countries are happening. But to give a sort of a inter-country agreement, inter-country arrangements to legitimize this type of UPI on trade, etc., BRICS and such similar, the enlargement of BRICS, the more and more BRICS enlargement happens, it will be a sort of a counterweight to the American hegemony which has been happening. Certain areas, for example, the United Nations, again, Patikrit said that the United Nations has not been very successful in addressing certain major concerns like that. The basic question is, have they been successful with the MDGs? How far they have been successful with the SDGs? Or these MDGs and SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, are simply case of peddling the trade interests of only select few? These are all questions which are still to be answered. MDGs full-fledged implementation has not been validated, has not been confirmed, and UN reports are how much valid they are. You and I know much more than the report speaks. UN's role in dispute resolution is another $1 million question, whether it is Ukraine and Russia, or whether it is the Gulf crisis, etc. They are seeming to be running with the hare and hunting with the hound, which is not going to, which is not sustainable, is that. And UN is slowly getting relegated due to their lopsided, prejudiced stand on several places. It is not just it was certain adverse to the entire goal of Charter of United Nations, the real-time act. I have huge respect to the UN Secretariat, but it is happening. So in this context, evolution of emerging of the alternate such multilateral fora is a very natural consequence, and as it is said, now the BRICS has to evolve and it has to evolve, and it also has to factor in or facilitate. See, what has been United Nations' biggest folly has been, it has been an overbearing body trying to push it through, like the WTO. The WTO under the aegis of the trade mechanism as an overbearing thing for the one-stop solution for the entire world. How much it was successful? Non-tariff barriers, only tariff barriers, non-tariff barriers. How this was something that was best left to the FTA route, or this was best left to the bilateral route. But the WTO tried to overbear and push it through the entire world, all the 200 nations. But I hope the BRICS as an evolution process will keep these lessons in mind, whether it is on the human rights concern, whether it is the trade concern, that the bilateral issues, because the wearer only knows where the shoe pinches. The bilaterally, whether they are able to settle it through the FTA route or any other mutual agreement route, on not only the trade issues, on legal assistance, on the counterterrorism, certain thing that, for example, the India-China are trying to resolve. One of the major achievements of the landmark achievement of this is a dispute, a disagreement hanging on for 4 years since 2020. Now they are trying to come out to a sort of a
Yes, okay, sir.
agreement.
All right.
That's a very major landmark
Yeah,
achievement.
yes, absolutely. I also have with me
So-
Major Ali Shah.